She had always been the quiet one, the kind of girl who never spoke unless spoken to, who hid behind her hair and smiled softly whenever the world got too loud. Her name was Aisha, a simple girl from a small town, raised by her mother who worked day and night at a garment shop. Life had never given Aisha much, no luxury, no fame, no spotlight, only her dreams and a fragile hope that someday, she could stand tall and live without fear. But fate had other plans. One ordinary afternoon, while helping her mother at the shop, she fainted. The world spun, the ground disappeared, and everything went dark. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a hospital bed, the white ceiling above her like an endless sky. Her heart pounded as reality sank in. The doctor said she needed an urgent surgery. Aisha was terrified. She had never been to a hospital before, never faced something so serious. But behind that fear, there was a quiet strength that she didn't yet know she had. The next morning, as she waited for her surgery consultation, the door opened, and in walked a young man in a white coat. He couldn't have been more than 30, with calm eyes, a confident voice, and a warmth that instantly eased the tension in the room. "Good morning, Aisha," he said with a reassuring smile. "I'm Dr. Rayyan. I'll be taking care of you." She looked up, startled by how young he seemed for a doctor. There was something different about him, a quiet grace, a presence that filled the room without demanding attention. He spoke gently, explained everything clearly, and for the first time in days, Aisha felt safe. What she didn't know was that Dr. Rayyan wasn't just an ordinary doctor, he was a secret millionaire, a man who used his wealth to run a hospital that treated poor patients for free. But he never told anyone. For him, healing was his mission, not his business. As the days passed, Aisha saw his dedication. He visited her every morning, asked about her pain, her sleep, her fears. He listened, truly listened, something few people had ever done for her. And slowly, her shyness began to fade. She started talking, laughing softly, even sharing bits of her story. Rayyan found himself deeply moved by her resilience. Despite her struggles, she spoke of her mother, her dreams, and her wish to live a life that made others proud. He saw in her eyes a strength that no wealth could buy, a purity of heart that reminded him why he had chosen this path. The night before the surgery, Aisha couldn't sleep. The fear of the unknown kept her awake. When she looked out the window, she saw the city lights twinkling like scattered stars, and she whispered a silent prayer. At that very moment, Rayyan was in his office, looking at her report, determined to make sure everything went perfectly. To him, she wasn't just another patient, she was someone whose courage had quietly touched his soul. He decided to personally oversee her entire operation, even though he had a dozen others waiting. When dawn came, Aisha was wheeled into the operating room, her heart racing. She caught one last glimpse of Rayyan, his eyes calm and assuring. "You're safe," he said. "Just trust me." And she did. Hours later, when she woke up, the first face she saw was his. The surgery had been successful. Tears filled her eyes as relief washed over her. "You did it," she whispered weakly. "No," he said softly, "you did it. You were brave." It was a simple exchange, but one that changed something inside both of them. Over the next few weeks, as she recovered, she began to walk again, slowly, then steadily. Every step was a victory. And Rayyan was there, cheering her on quietly from the sidelines. One afternoon, as she prepared to leave the hospital, she noticed how everyone respected him, the nurses, the staff, even the janitors. Yet, he remained humble, never flaunting his status. Curious, she asked one nurse, "He's so kind, but he doesn't seem like a regular doctor, does he?" The nurse smiled knowingly. "He's not. Dr. Rayyan owns this hospital. But he never talks about it. For him, patients come before pride." Aisha was stunned. Her doctor, the one who held her hand through pain, who spoke to her like a friend, who never once made her feel small, was a millionaire. But now, that fact didn't make her nervous. Instead, it filled her heart with gratitude. She realized that true greatness isn't measured by money or fame, it's measured by compassion. When she met him one last time before leaving, she tried to find words to thank him, but tears spoke louder. "I don't know how to repay you," she said. He smiled and replied, "Then just live well. That's all the thanks I need." She promised she would. Months passed. Aisha's life changed in ways she never imagined. She gained confidence, started speaking at small community events, and began helping other girls overcome their fears. She often shared her story, not to earn sympathy, but to show that kindness can heal even the deepest wounds. And every time she spoke, she mentioned a young doctor who believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. Somewhere in the crowd, her story reached thousands of hearts, including Rayanne's. He watched her speeches online, smiling proudly, knowing that his kindness had inspired her to rise. One evening, as Aisha stood on a small stage during a charity event, she saw a familiar face at the back of the room. It was him. The crowd faded away as their eyes met. After the event, he approached her quietly. "You kept your promise," he said. "You're living well." She smiled, tears glistening. "Only because someone once told me I could." That night, they walked out into the cool city air, two souls connected not by wealth or status, but by shared humanity and courage. He wasn't just her doctor anymore, he was her reminder that angels sometimes wear white coats. In the end, this wasn't a story about surgery or miracles, it was about how one act of kindness can change the course of another person's life. Aisha learned that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about standing up even when you're trembling. And Rayanne proved that true wealth isn't in what we have, but in what we give. And if you're listening to this story right now, remember, someone out there might be waiting for a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand from you. Don't hold back your kindness, because it might just change a life, the way Dr. Rayanne changed Aisha's. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because every story we tell is a reminder that humanity, love, and hope still exist. Turn on the notification bell and stay connected for more inspirational stories that prove, even the quietest souls can create the loudest echoes of change.